meet up with the standards of the other players. And the positions which he plays, there are several other players in that category. Osaguna Ighodaro, one of Rangers' top scorer last season, still a member of Rangers team, made his debut for Nigeria against South Africa in Durban. He had a good game, almost got a goal that could have made it a brilliant debut for him, but it was Meyiwa that stopped that goal. So, but it's good. Of course, when you have a striking force, a forward line that has Mfonwudo, who's the best player on this domestic scene, the highest goal scorer on the domestic scene, a record-setting, a record-breaking player, and you have Bolan Salami. You can't put out Bolan Salami, even though he has not scored more goals than Osaguna, but you can't put out the Bolan Salami. It's an asset any day, any time for any national team coach or club coach. Gambo Mohamed, at any day, any time, he doesn't score much goals, but he has a lot of assists. But the beauty is that Emmanuel Duok is not part of this squad, so that would have been a loaded forward line. Christian Obiozo for Rangers, you know what he did. You know what he did at the Chan. He got the only goal that gave us the bronze medal. So for Ighodalo, maybe there's an opportunity to look at his form, because one thing about football is that after the league, some of these players go to marry, they enjoy themselves and everything, but they fail to realize that there's still football after football keeps going. You have to keep building yourself so that you have to measure up with the pace of competition and advancement in the game. Daniel Mokachi took 90 players to the United Arab Emirates. Chigozie Agbe, Daniel Akpeyi, Theophilus Akolia, the usual suspect in the goalkeeper line. And the defenders, we have Solomon Kwambe, is going to be part of this team. It is Aluma, so surprising, from Academy Warriors, the left foot back, and this is going to be his debut. If he's going to play in that international friendly, his first invitation. Chima Akas of Sharks, so left foot back. Nelson Ogbonaya from Atlant. Azubuike Igwekwe, if he's going to be part of the big boys, he's definitely going to be part of the middleweight. But the CMA, one right full back that a lot of people have overlooked over time.
Should even be part of
the main team.
Yeah.
In the midfield, you have Joseph Nathaniel. We saw that game. You were there. You saw the way he was able to hold the midfield against Ghana. Charles Elong is the captain of Giwa FC, a very formidable midfielder. It's like a war horse for Giwa FC, a workaholic. Stanley Dingba from Warri Wolves. Yeah, he's a left footer, but he plays on the left side of the midfield. He's a player that has his left foot is packed with shots. I think he's going to work well when we have to rely on long range shots to get our goals. Rabi Ali, you can't rule him out of this team. He's more or less an enigma in the midfield. Kingsley Sokari, of course, the Enyimba midfielder. So it's a squad that looks a bit commendable. It's above average, but we hope they don't get because I know Nigerians, when you are playing against Cote d'Ivoire, they are going to play against the Ivorian final squad for AFCON. But I think these boys should do themselves a lot of good by doing very well, so that Nigeria will know that what this team will mean is that the point best players coming will know that these guys have played a friendly game against one of the best teams in Africa, and they played very well. So it means those ones coming from Europe, instead of coming for training camp or going to their village to greet everybody, they will come straight to camp because they know that somebody there is waiting to pick up his shirt. And that will create the level of competition we saw when Keshi started his rebuilding process.
I totally agree with you. And I mean, when you look at the strikers that we've mentioned, any of these guys can compete with the foreign base. Fonudog, Bolan Salami is already in the mix of things. But let's look at this team. Nothing to gain from this one, but can they give the Ivorians the sort of preparations that they need for the competition?
Of course they can. I mean, to buttress what Nadia said, we are living at a time where, I mean, home-based players in the national team are not players you don't know. And it's good. I mean, you heard Nodi talk about all of these players, and I was shaking my head because usually in Times Plus, you draw a list of home-based players, and even the journalists are asking themselves, who is this, who is that? But now it's so good. It's so good. And we're not doing anything new. Keshi started this midway, we abandoned it, and we paid dearly for it. Now that we're finding our way, we're trying to look at what we did that brought the short-lived success. This is a good one. I can't argue with this team. I mean, even the reasons given for the players dropped. I mean, you look at the players selected and the players dropped. I mean, there's really nothing that you can say. And I want to say they'll give the Ivorians a very good test. And I hope that they write their names in gold. Like Nodi said, if the main guys knows that, look, you have players. I mean, Toy traveled to Rwanda, and he told us what happened about how most of the foreign-based players were even saying, give the ball to AGK, give the ball to AGK. It showed it was doing something more sensible with the ball than all of them. And those guys felt if our goal was going to come through somebody, it probably will come through this guy. That's how far those guys, the home-based players, have grown. It's not just a time where a former coach called them training materials. They're not training materials anymore. But they have the opportunity now, put themselves back into reckoning, and probably those areas that we have problems in the national team, central defense, central midfield. We've not really had problems with strikers. The problem has always been not being able to create chances for the strikers to score goals. So I think in defense, the central defense and creative department of the midfield, any of the players who excel in those positions will find it easy playing in the Super Eagles.
And when I look at the complete squad, there's a mix of players that have seen real action playing for the senior national team. In that defense line, Solomon Kwame and Azubike, they've played with the team. When you look at the midfield also, the likes of Kingsley Sokari and Rabiu Ali can feature anytime, any day for the Super Eagles. They don't even go to the forwards because those guys are good.
They've had top flight football, like Gambo Mohamed has been at the FIFA Confederation
There
Cup,
you go.
and we have Bola Salami.
They've all been capped
at
the forward line.
So I think what we are doing this time around is trying to, because that is what we should do. When Keshi started, we said this was an opportunity. We know that it was the same thing he did when he came on board in 2011. Those teams going to the Nations Cup, Angola, we played against Angola, we played a goalless draw, we played against a Liberian team that we met later. That we have to on the final round for the 2013 qualifiers. We beat them in Liberia 2-0. The same home-based player, Mba was part of that squad. We played against Egypt, a loaded Egypt squad that can take any Nigerian team to the cleaner. It was a 3-2 big defeat, which we all applauded that, yeah, these guys tried. So it started like that. We saw the completeness. We saw the first qualifier we had. That was, Yemi was mentioning the Nations Cup qualifier against Rwanda. We saw what the team were able to do. We saw our first World Cup qualifier. That was a game against Namibia in Calabar. We saw the way some of these guys who were picked. Oshaniwa was an home-based player.
Yep.
We saw what they were able to do. We saw the level of confidence they built over time. I think this is what we're able to do. But we know at one point in Nigeria, we don't know how to sustain some level of success. We abandoned it at one point.
That's the problem.
And by the time we abandon it, we fail to realize.
So we get a problem again.
Then we said, let's go back to the drawing board. We realized that the drawing board was left in the middle of the journey, and we have to go back. How do we locate the drawing board at where we left it? We have to go back to where we left that drawing board. We have to go back to where we pick it from, where we left it. That's what we're supposed to be doing. But then, again, we're going back to the drawing board, not where we left it off.
That's a good one. So that's a good one for domestic football in Nigeria. It won't just only speak well for these players that will not see real competition, talking about the 2015 African Cup of Nations, but it's also in some way projects the level of the local league. That with this sort of quality coming out of the domestic league in Nigeria, we can play good football. Let's leave the home-based Super Eagles and talk about this level of football where, Zumnodi, from this level of your career, if you play at the under-20 level, you can project how close or how far you are from the senior national team. The guy on your screen, Solomon Theophilus, he's gotten an invite to join the Flying Eagles. Good one, but again, a lot of guys will be saying, we're beginning to depend some on the foreign-based guys.
Austin, what this under-20 tournament does for us is that it's not on the FIFA calendar. That's the danger. Some of these big clubs, some of these clubs in Europe, when you have your players playing top 5 football, we don't have especially for a player like it's a success. I don't know what Canada would do, how they would do it, because Canada right now are struggling. They are battling for their life, and as a success, is a key member of that team. It's a key member of the team, and there's no way. Somebody was telling me that, but of course they are struggling, so they will allow him go. I said the team fighting for their life, different for the team fighting for the title. That's why they need him most. They don't want to go to back to the rural division, so they need him most. So this is a tempting period for Coach Manu Garba. It's a tempting period. I won't lie, because getting a player from Croatia, it means that the Croatian league is either going away on break, or they will try to do some kind of arrangement with the club based on the fact that if the player finishes that tournament, he comes back immediately to the club. That's what they can do to get this player. So they are inviting more players so that these golden players, we felt they were golden players that should be part of this team, doesn't show up. If they don't show up, then we are back to where we are again. So we start scrambling. So I think at this point in time, for Manu Garba, he has to get the best as much as we get more players into this, so that we know that by the time the big boys we are expecting, the big boys in quote, don't show up, we have a couple of players that we can go to use, because you know, at 20 level, when you get to this level, a lot of people fail to realize that at this level, Mikel played for 2005.
Messi.